Oh my God! Finally, this finally happened.
It happened. The day
Oh
came.
man, I can't believe it's crazy to think that last summer we heard the announcement that Snyder Cut's actually a thing and it is coming. So it feels like it's such a long time coming. Welcome everybody to the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. We have a lot to talk about today. And what we're talking about specifically, I'm sure everybody already knows. You saw our slate. You know what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's a given. And why we're going to do this is because why not?
Because I don't know, we've been like waiting for the past like 4 years.
Oh my God. And so think about I was kind of thinking did I hop on the bandwagon like everybody else? I'm like, no, because as soon as I remember we saw the movie before, we thought this is not Snyder's work. They definitely fucked this up. Like, this is not what we wanted. This is not what we signed up for. What the fuck was this? And I'm gonna say this right now. I give Warner Brothers some respect for doing this, just because they basically brought a movie that they messed up back to life. And sure, it's on a streaming platform. Like, it's not the same as a movie theater, but I'm gonna tell you right now, no studio would sign off on a 4-hour movie, no matter what you think it'll make. It's just, it's impossible.
I've been kind of thinking about it, and it's like, really the only way we could have seen this version of the movie was for events to play out the way they did. You know,
it was through HBO Max.
Yeah, having HBO Max, and then the studio just butchering the original vision, because let's say that they were in agreement with Snyder and everything from the beginning. There's no way we would have seen a 4-hour version in the theater. So it would have been at least in some way compromised. And this was very much an uncompromised version of the movie.
No, and I keep trying to think, is there a better way to portray this movie by cutting things off, like chopping it off on the block, or trying to compact it in like 2 hours if you even change the story in general? No, it is impossible. It is very difficult to do so. But given I'm not a director, I'm not a screenwriter, so maybe I'm sure there's gonna be some people like, I could have done this better, I could have shortened this in half and still made a great movie. It's like, good for you. But for the way Zack Snyder started off the DCEU, there's no way you could have done that by cutting off anything. All these scenes were important to the movie. They brought context, they brought unity, just consistency overall, where the theatrical cut was basically Zack Snyder's work with a couple of Joss Whedon's reshoots basically put together. And it's like, okay, there we go, we're done. That's basically how I can put it. You clumped it together instead of making a beautiful clay statue of Greek epicness. It was basically a fucking glob of Play-Doh, like someone tried to make Gumby, and Gumby did not live.
The way I thought about it yesterday was how did the two compare? And it was as if someone, this is just like my metaphor for it. It's like this as if like a student had a book report on the Iliad and was like, okay, I have all summer to do it. And then they waited to the last second. They were like, oh, damn, okay, well, I can't read this whole book now. So they watched Troy. But then they were like, okay, I'm not going to watch Troy. I'm going to read the Wikipedia summary of Troy. And it was them just sort of like from memory putting that all together. And that's what the theatrical cut was compared to this movie.
As a master of procrastination throughout all forms of education, I could basically say the theatrical is a procrastinated work instead of actually taking the time to do it. And again, if any of you saw that Vanity Fair article we tagged in our last movie for revisiting Batman vs Superman, it basically spelled out the whole thing that Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns are basically sabotaging. I'm going to say it that way. They were sabotaging this movie months before Zack Snyder's daughter, Autumn, committed suicide. So it's like, basically it was like a combination of them overwriting everything he wanted to do, and then just like a family loss. Like, I can't do this. I got to go. Chris Nolan and his wife were, after this version, 100% correct in saying you should never see the theatrical version. It will destroy you. And watching this movie, it destroyed me a little bit. I'm a little upset with the rest of the DCU at this point, but we'll get into that later. I'm not gonna let's talk about the movie itself real quick. This is a non-spoiler review, so if you haven't seen this, it just came out this week on March 18th specifically, so you have time to watch it. It's 4 hours. I personally recommend watching it all at once. Do not try and break this up. It just doesn't feel right trying to break this up in any way, even though a lot of people I will agree with, the parts like breaking up into chapters is one of the better ways to do it than any movie I've ever seen. Well, would you agree with that, Bern?
No, yeah, especially for a movie of this length, like the fact that they have chapters that separate, the different parts of the story, make it really easy to watch this movie at your own pace. Like you can maybe take it one chapter at a time if you want to. I've also heard, Snyder say that if you wanted to divide it up into two parts, you can, end at the end of chapter 4, and watching it last night, that seemed like a really good place to stop. I didn't want to stop, obviously I watched it all the way through, but I thought, okay, ending it here for the night, if you wanted to, would be a good place to leave it to where you're hyped up to watch the next part the next day. So, it really does lend itself to, like I said, you can take it at whatever pace you want to, but I personally like you all the way through.
I was gonna wait till after work last night to watch it, but honestly, as soon as I woke up, I was just so excited. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it now. Let me see if I can get through this all the way through. And it was just something I didn't want to take my eyes off of. I was so glued to the screen watching this that I just thought, why the fuck didn't we get this to begin with? And it sucks. It really does. I mean, again, Snyder, he puts a lot of work into these movies. If you watch any of his director's cuts for anything, I actually finally watched the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Oh, you did?
Nice. We were talking about how it's 30 Rock referenced it with Matt Damon, where he's obsessed with it because it's the in-flight movie. And it's one of those, I didn't realize Zack Snyder actually directed it, but I could see a lot of his work in it, like the slow motion, the action, the violence a little bit, even for a kid's movie, and just the darkness of it all. It was actually a pretty solid movie. Would I watch it again? I'm okay. It's a kid's movie for sure. But this one though, wow. I can't say enough for this. Sitting through it all 4 hours yesterday, I thought, damn you, Warner Brothers, you guys fucked up. I was like the Big Lebowski, you just fucked it up. The situation is fucked. It took my other side to say nothing is fucked here, dude. We finally got it. They're just a bunch of fucking amateurs.
I really don't understand how they could have watched this and been like, yeah, we need to cut it. We need to change a bunch of stuff, add more dumb humor. And when there was already a good amount of humor, and the humor here worked, it's like, I really don't understand why they decided to change it up the way they did. Cause really it was all here. If they wanted to just cut it up into a 2-hour version, they could have done it with all the footage here. They didn't have to go and Frankenstein monster this whole thing with, Joss Whedon's tendencies. They really could have just done it with the footage that was here, and it would have been a lot better than what we got. It's unfathomable, the decision making that was going on at that point.
It was terrible mismanagement. That's all I'm going to nail it down to. It's definitely the studio's fault and personnel fault. Because again, who is managing Warner Brothers as a whole? Besides
Kevin Sujihara was the
Kevin Sujihara, and who is it now?
It's Walter Hamada now.
Walter Hamada.
Well, of DC Films, yeah.
Yeah, of DC Films. Okay, of DC Films specifically. Okay. Is Kevin Sujihara still, is he still head of Warner Brothers or no? No, yeah, that's right, because of the whole sexual harassment thing. Anyways, but yeah, Kevin Sujihara, Jeff Johns, they basically butchered this. I will completely blame them 100%. Joss Whedon, I'll give him the blame too. He can't take credit for any of this. I'm going to say this right now, because for those of you who don't know, or if you haven't really cared to follow this all too much, basically the theatrical cut was all Snyder's footage, basically all of it, except for a few key scenes that they did and cut out of and stuff like that. But this is basically everything put together and drawn out so we understand everything better, not only with better dialogue, but better, just scenes to really think, oh, that's why this makes sense. There were plenty of moments I had that watching it where I thought, wow, I got it before, now I get it even more, like, holy crap, this was way better. And they basically just sabotaged themselves. I don't know why. It's like they basically just wanted to wash their hands of Snyder for whatever reason. His first 2 movies got lukewarm receptions, but that's no need to basically write him out completely with that crap film. I really I don't know what their deal was with it. Like they should have just put their faith in Snyder with this one and let him do it. You
Yeah,
know.
and it's so crazy too because once you see this movie, you see where the vision was heading to, where like everything, from Man of Steel to everything that happened in Batman versus Superman. It's like it was all leading up to this point. Like I feel like I'm very curious to see what a lot of people's reaction to this and how it would recontextualize the previous two movies for them. I wonder if like it makes it better for them because I think the way it flows, the whole story now that we've seen it all, it leads into it perfectly and everything is paid off, emotionally and thematically for the characters involved. It all works so well. Like again, you clearly see the vision that was going on here now. And
Mhm.
I'm just like again just baffled at why they decided to undercut it.
No, it sets up it, and that's why I'm saying I'm a little upset with the DCEU because the way this ended off of set up the next two movies beautifully, especially with Snyder's new storyboards that he redid just to kind of, if they do ask him to do it, he kind of did new ones about where he wants Justice League 2 and 3 to go. And honestly, it sets up the solo movies even better. Like the way it ended, Aquaman would have had a better movie in my opinion. Flash's movie is perfectly set up with everything going
Mm-hmm.
on. Wonder Woman's again,
Those
1984 was
those
still
take
set in the
place in the
past.
past, yeah.
Yeah, so hers is really out of the question, but it could set up a modern film for her perfectly.
Yeah, a potential
Basically,
part three.
basically the way this ended off was in a much better space for characters. So overall, better character development, character dialogue, interactions, plot, everything is vastly improved. And for, I mean, I can't go into it without really spoiling a whole lot, but you love the characters even more. Like Flash is actually funny. He's more experienced. Wonder
Mm-hmm.
Woman is like Laura Croft and Indiana Jones mixed together, just an ultimate adventure badass. Aquaman, you understand why he is the way he is in this movie a little more so. Batman's no longer the butt of a joke of
No.
everything. He's not the
Yeah.
worst part of this movie. Uh, Superman, I love Superman even more after this. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie,
Superman is great.
his scenes were fucking crazy, just unbelievably ruthless and beautiful. Like his, I didn't know how to feel. I really was like, I'm in a whirlwind of emotions right now. And Cyborg, I like Cyborg before in the theatrical cut, just because I thought he was pretty
Mhm.
cool
I
looking. And
didn't.
you didn't like him, okay?
Not in the theatrical cut, but man, I loved him
This
in
I
this one.
loved him in this. Yes, thank you. I feel like that's everybody's consensus is that Cyborg is so much better in this movie. And I'm gonna say this right now. I want Ray Fisher to come back. I really
I do
hope
too.
Walter can just brush off all him trying to go after him. And I hope they can just talk it out and just like, listen, we want you to come back. The fans loved you. I loved your character in Snyder Cut. Please, like, just let's work together and make Cyborg again. Like, bring him back.
Hmm.
And the nightmare sequence. I'm not going to get into depth with that. That'll be for our spoiler review coming later.
Yeah.
But not enough of it. That's my only gripe is not enough of it. It was so cool. I'm obsessed with the Nightmare verse at this point. And I also did already pre-order the Hot Toys double whammy of Black Suit Superman and Nightmare Batman because I missed out the first time on
Guilty.
Nightmare. Yeah.
Guilty. Me too.
I, and it introduces so much more characters. Like this was again, I had my gripes originally with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman and how I felt like they went way too fast going into it. But
Hmm.
like you said, Bern, this movie actually put things way better into perspective for me. And like it really does set up the rest of the DCU so much better with the expansion of new characters and who it was hinting at. There was so many good things about it. It really was hard for me to pick at it. I know. And then
Yeah.
the only negative thing I will say, guys, if you do plan on watching this, is that it is 4 hours. So if you're a very
Hmm.
casual movie watcher, maybe not a superhero fan, this may be too much for you. So but I still recommend it nonetheless. Just watch it in parts, like Burns said, or how everybody else recommended it. Snyder did say end it after part 4 just to take a break because that's the perfect place to take an intermission. Um,
Yeah.
but
I mean, with the way it's released, in the format that it is, so we don't broken up into parts, and it being on a streaming service, it's like if you're complaining about the length, then it's like, I mean, I'm not with you on that because it's like, again, it's set up perfectly for you to binge it at,
Yes.
pace. And again, it's very much a binge. It's like binging like a 4-part, well, like a 6-part miniseries. Like and people binge whole seasons in a day. So it's like now in this new modern age of, consuming media, it's like 4 hours is not that big a deal at this point.
Yeah, if people can watch like 2 or 3 seasons of The Office in one day, I think it's definitely possible to watch this in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of okay now that you put that into perspective. I'm gonna kind of say F you to those people who say that's 4 hours is so long for a movie. It's like,
Yeah.
if you, I've watched 2 or 3 seasons of Always Sunny. That's like 10 episodes each, 20 minutes long. That works.
Yeah, it's like you see the length before you hit the play button. It's like, and then also you can hit the pause button and stop at any time you want to. It's like,
Go to the bathroom, get some grub. I don't care. Take a hit. Take a sip. I don't care. Just do what you got to do to make it through this movie because it is amazing.
mm-hmm.
I personally, it was like I could have just sat here dehydrated on the brink of death and I would have watched it. But Burn, the final thing to finish off our non-spoiler, what would you give it as a rating out of 5 rantings?
Out of 5 rantings. So, I've been thinking about this a lot because, I wanted to like separate, the fan in me, that was just overwhelmingly hyped with, with the critic, like trying to be a little bit more objective about certain things.
I respect that.
But I can't for the life of me find anything that would be able to dock any significant amount of points for this. So for me personally, I guess as a critic or whatever, and as a fan, I can only give it a 5 out of 5. It's
really,
I cannot find anything wrong. And for me, I'm sure other people can disagree, and there'll be parts that significantly, reduce their score. And that again, film is subjective, so that's what's cool about this. But for me, I couldn't find anything here that knocked off even a whole point for me. So it is a 5 out of 5 for me. I loved it. And again, I have my nitpicks here and there, and I don't know if I can really get into them, without getting into spoilers. So maybe I will get into more of that when we have our spoiler discussion. But just right now, 5 out of 5.
Purely just for me. I love that rating, by the way, Burn. It's good. I mean, again, will we look at thing about the same in a few years? Maybe not. But
yeah, that's yet to be seen.
At this point in time, I'm going to give it a hard 4.5 out of 5. It's purely just because I have my personal grievances with it. Not saying they're legitimate. They're literally just me thinking about the movie, like what I would have wanted to see better or what would have made it a perfect 5 out of me. But this is a vast improvement nonetheless. I would have given the theatrical cut, I easily give a 0, maybe a 1 because
a 1.
Yeah, there was some things I liked about it. I'm not going to lie. The theatrical cut still had a lot of Snyder's footage. It was basically all Snyder's work with a couple things that, Joss Whedon reshot and then also changed the tone of it. But yeah, I mean, this is damn near perfect for a movie. It's really, I really tried to pick at it. Like what do I not like about this? And it was hard. It really was hard to kind of find something I really didn't like. I mean, I'll probably, after a couple more rewatches, so basically 20 hours of my life gone, I will, maybe I will find more stuff. But at this point in time, I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 for me. So basically 9 out of 10, however you want to do it. Mathematically, I don't care. Do what you will, but it was fantastic. I can't stress that enough. So, let's end it there, Burn, for the non-spoilers, just because I really want to dive into spoilers. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to drop it separately because I didn't want to do it all at once because
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to talk about.
Well, not only is it a lot to talk about, but I don't want people to get spoiled so quickly. I'd rather have them try and watch this movie this weekend and really soak it in. So we'll get to that. Also, Falcon Winter Soldier dropped today. So if you're not feeling the DC love, please hop on that. I watched it. Burn has not yet. So we're gonna review that soon, guys. But that's another. I don't want to say anything. We'll talk about that later. This is about Snyder. This is all about the Snyder right now.
Yeah. Either way, it's a great weekend to be a fan.
Fantastic weekend, especially because I got the vid shot. So number 1 down. Hashtag vaccine, y'all. But yeah, dude, let's hop on to the spoiler session. What do you say?
Yes, sir. And then for everyone, again, like, subscribe, What did you like about it? Also, we're gonna drop the link again to the Into the People. Donate, get some merch for it's a good cause. AFSP is a great cause, and the movie. Not to like spoil anything, but this is dedicated to Autumn Snyder. His daughter. So, if you like this movie, go check that stuff out because I got my shirt. Ryan's got his shirt. Lots of cool stuff. So definitely check it out.
Damn right I do. Yes, please. We're gonna drop that for you guys. So we're gonna drop it for the spoiler review too. We want you guys to keep contributing. I'm already ordering more stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I have a problem.
It's a good problem.
It is a good problem. Thank you, Berna. Makes me feel better. But I will we're gonna end it here, guys. So please, if you want to be spoiled or you want to, kind of dive into what we liked about it, hop on to the next video, guys. But until then, Bern, I'm gonna talk to you in a few seconds about it. What do you say?
Yeah, I guess I'll see you then.
Yeah, I'll see you then, or I'll see you another time.